I come to you again to talk about the situation in the Middle East. The future of the United Nations and peace in the Middle East may be at stake. In the 4 months since I talked to you about the crisis in that area, the United Nations has had considerable progress in resolving some of the difficult problems. We are now, however, faced with a fateful moment as a result of the failure of Israel to withdraw its forces behind the armistice lines as contemplated by the resolutions on this subject. I have already today met with the leaders of both parties from the Senate and House of Representatives. We had it was the general feeling of that meeting that I should lay the situation before the American people. Now, before talking about the specific issues involved, I want to make clear that these issues are not something remote and abstract, but involve matters vitally touching upon the future of each one of us. The Middle East is a land bridge between the Eurasian and African continents. Millions of tons of commerce are transmitted through it annually. Its own products, especially petroleum, are essential to Europe and to the Western world. Now, the United Nations has no selfish ambitions or desires in this region. It hopes only that each country there may maintain its independence and live peacefully within itself and with its neighbors. By peaceful develop its own spiritual and material resources. But that much is vital to the peace and well-being of us all. This is our concern today.
There is, however, a special situation in the Middle East, which I feel I should, even now, lay before this body. Before doing so, it is well to remind ourselves that our basic national objective in international affairs remains peace, a world peace based on justice. Such a peace must include all areas, all peoples of the world, if it is to be enduring. There is no nation, great or small, with which we would refuse to negotiate in mutual good faith, with patience, and in the determination to secure a better understanding between us. Out of such understandings must, and eventually will, grow confidence and trust, indispensable ingredients to a program of peace and to plans for lifting from us all the burdens of these expensive armaments. To promote these objectives, our government works tirelessly, day by day, month by month, year by year. But until a degree of success crowns our efforts that will ensure to all nations peaceful existence, we must, in the interest of peace itself, remain vigilant, alert, and strong. The Middle East has abruptly reached a new and critical stage in its long and important history. In past decades, many of the countries in that area were not fully self-governing. Other nations exercised considerable authority in the area, and the security of the region was largely built around their power. But since the First World War, there has been a steady evolution toward self-government and independence. This development the United States has welcomed and has encouraged. Our country supports, without reservation, the full sovereignty and independence of each and every nation in the Middle East. Now, the evolution toward independence has, in the main, been a peaceful process, but the area has been often troubled. Persistent cross-currents of distrust and fear, with raids back and forth across national boundaries, have brought about a high degree of instability in much of the Mideast. Just recently, there have been hostilities involving Western nations that once exercised much influence in the area. Also, the relatively large attack by Israel in October has intensified the basic differences between that nation and its Arab neighbors.